Starting with number 10, Estonia, 52.57%. Estonia, like other Eastern European nations, has been struggling with the aftermath of World War II, as well as dealing with various public health issues such as heavy drinking as well as smoking. Shockingly, the average Estonian man consumes 17.5 liters of alcohol every single year, more than double that of women. And sadly, Estonia has one of the highest self-unaliving rates in Europe, with men committing self-unaliving almost 5 times more often than women. Now, to add to this, nearly 11,000 Estonians leave their country every single year to find better economic prospects, with the majority of them being men. The country at number 9 is Portugal at 52.82%. Since the year 2010, Portugal has experienced a rise in the number of women as well as an increase in gender equality, which is a positive development. However, the Portuguese economy has encountered difficulties in recent years, leading many Portuguese men to seek better prospects elsewhere. Brazil, as well as other European Union member nations, are the most common destinations for Portuguese men looking to relocate. On top of that, the higher population of women in Portugal is partially due to the fact that men have lower life expectancy, and their average lifespan is 78 years compared to women. On average, their lifespan is 84 years in Portugal. Next up, we have Zimbabwe, 52.83%. Over in Zimbabwe, progress towards gender equality has been made, with women holding 31.9% of parliamentary seats as of February 2021. However, this positive step is overshadowed by the concerning fact that there is disproportionately a higher amount of women than men in the country, which presents its own set of challenges. In the year 2020, the male mortality rate was alarmingly high at 413% compared to the United States' rate at 138%, indicating the likelihood of passing away between ages 15 and 60. But despite this, Zimbabwe has experienced an overall decrease in mortality rates in recent years, giving hope that the gender imbalance and other issues can be addressed in the future. Coming in at the number 7 spot, we have Georgia, 52.98%. Georgia, a small but mighty country with a population of just 3.7 million, has a gender ratio of 52.98% women and 47.02 men. Despite its size, Georgia has a rich history of defending its independence against powerful neighboring countries like Russia and Turkey. However, limited economic opportunities have led to high rates of male immigration, and gender imbalance is largely due to mortality, which can be attributed to high rates of alcohol consumption, smoking, and other risky habits. Nevertheless, the Georgian people continue to persevere and work towards a better future. Lithuania drops in at the number 6 spot, 53.07%. Lithuania, much like its neighboring country Latvia, shares the same troubling trend of self-destructive behaviors among the male population. Men in this nation are known to have higher rates of alcohol abuse and smoking than women. In fact, smoking is so prevalent in Lithuania that over a third of Lithuanian men smoke daily, and many others, of course, they just smoke casually. But authorities in Lithuania have made it a top priority to discourage cigarette consumption. However, Lithuania does face a challenge of its young and skilled men leaving the country. Coming up at the number 5 spot, we have Luxembourg at a score of 0.899. Luxembourg, the small microstate, ranks 5th among the top countries for women as per the Georgetown Institute's data. Despite having a population of only 600,500 inhabitants, women enjoy a very comfortable and fulfilling life there. With an average of 12 years of schooling and an employment rate of 54.9%, Luxembourg's women are actively engaged in their society. Additionally, 31.7% of parliamentary seats in Luxembourg are held by women, marking a increase of 3 points since the year 2017. 85.6% of women in the country feel safe in their communities also. From there, let's take a look at the country of Denmark. Their score is 0.903. Denmark, similar to other Scandinavian countries, is renowned for its excellent quality of life, including high quality of life for women. Danish women have nearly 100% access to cell phones and the internet. Denmark, similar to other Scandinavian countries, is renowned for its excellent quality of life, including an excellent quality of life for women. Danish women have nearly 100% access to cell phones and the internet, and on average they complete 13.1 years of schooling. While 54% of eligible working women have active employment, there is still room for improvement in female inclusion as well as opportunities. In the political sphere, just under 40% of parliamentary seats in Denmark are held by women, and they even saw a female prime minister, Mette Frederiksen, who's a female. From there, let's take a look at the country of Iceland at number 3. Icelandic women complete on average of 12.6 years of schooling, and around 88% of working age women are active members of the workforce. Icelandic women also have some of the highest cell phone usage rates in the world, with 99.6% of them using cellular devices. Over 40% of parliamentary seats in Iceland are held by women, and in 1980 the country made history by electing the first female president, and they even saw a female prime minister that served since 2017. Next up at number 2, we have Finland. Their score is 0.909. Finland ranks as the second best country for women to live in and work in, just after Norway. Finnish women receive an average of 12.9 years of education, and 52.7% of them are engaged in active employment. When it comes to politics, women hold 46% of parliamentary seats, and the current Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, made history as the youngest head of government in Finland at the age of 34. Coming in at number 1, we have Norway. Their score is 0.922. According to Georgetown's data, Norway is ranked as the top country for women out of 170 different nations. With an average of 13 years of education, Norwegian women are among the most educated in the world. In addition, 58% of women have stable employment. Women also hold approximately 45% of parliamentary seats and have served as prime minister, of course. Erna Solberg has been the most recent, serving up until 2021. Only about 10% of women experience their water breaking before labor. For every other woman, the water breaks during labor, either naturally or with the help of doctors. And normally when it breaks, it's not like the movies where a fountain of water just gushes out all the time. No, more than likely it's going to be water just trickling out. Now, according to Guinness Book of World Records, the record for the most amount of babies born to a woman is 69 babies. Lord have mercy, that's a lot of baby pushing. The mother was a peasant from Shuya, Russia, and she's identified only as the wife of Fyodor Vasilyev. Now, Mrs. Vasilyev, she lived during the 18th century. She had a total of 27 pregnancies, including 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. 4 sets of quadruplets, how ironic. Now, in giving birth, a lot of bodily fluids are leaked out. With all that pushing, many women experience pooping on the delivery bed. Yeah, it's almost inevitable, so if it happens, don't worry, don't be embarrassed. The nurses and doctors, they're trained for that kind of stuff. Now, on top of that, during childbirth, you will be passing a lot of gas, especially if you receive an epidural. The reason is because after the epidural is administered, a lot of sensation is lost below the waist. That means anything can go. There's no telling what can happen down there. At number 5 is Theresa May. The British Prime Minister Theresa May was elected after David Cameron held a referendum after asking the public whether or not they want to separate themselves from the European Union. After the majority voted yes to the referendum, David Cameron had to resign. When Theresa May was elected, it became her job to guide her country through what has been called a really bad divorce. And you know, there's not a lot of time to get things sorted out, because you see, the deadline for the UK to withdraw from the European Union is April 29th.
2019. Now, this is a massive responsibility for any person to take on, and Theresa May's net worth sits at $3 million. Moving on to number 4, we have Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel has been the Chancellor of Germany since 2005, and since then has been acting as a de facto leader of a European coalition. Angela Merkel won a hard-fought election that saw the far-right alternative for Germany enter into German parliament. And she'll have to hold on real tight going forward as she faces some rocky roads that were caused by Brexit. She's working from a position of strength as Germany's economy continues to grow. After the dip in 2015, Germany's GDP is now rising, and her net worth is estimated to be $11.5 million. Next up, we have Indra Nooyi. As the CEO of Pepsi, Indra Nooyi is trying to push Pepsi towards healthier options while still marketing to customers that still love their less healthy products. Well, soda consumption in the US has been declining for over a decade now, so there's definitely some challenges when it comes to growing Pepsi. And Pepsi recently lost market share in its soda brands because it began focusing a little too much of its advertising dollars towards newer brands like LIFEwater. And her estimated net worth is $151.8 million. In the number 2 spot, we have Oprah Winfrey. Oprah is an entertainment mogul, and she's having a huge resurgence of her on-screen career, including critically acclaimed performances in April of 2017, where she was in an HBO film. If you know a bit about her history, you know that she started in TV reporting, and she kind of went back to her roots as a special contributor on 60 Minutes in fall of 2017. Her own TV network called OWN had its most watched year in 2016, but that doesn't account for the bulk of her wealth. The bulk of Oprah's wealth came from her years in the talk show business. And you know the brand Weight Watchers? Well, yeah, Oprah bought a 10% stake in the company in 2015, and she acts as a brand ambassador. And today her current net worth is estimated to be around $3 billion. And then coming in at number 1 spot for the most powerful woman in the world is Melinda Gates. Melinda Gates continues to be the most powerful woman, especially in philanthropy, as she is the co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. She's a powerful force that can't be messed with, especially in the field of health, right? Yeah, so check this. She's making a real impact, right? And she showed the foundation's first goalkeepers report, and this report is pretty much the hard metrics that is behind what the foundation is doing. So maternal deaths in Ethiopia are down 57% since 1990, and this is largely attributed to the contribution of her foundation. She has denounced workplaces who make balancing work life and home life harder for women, and she has spoken out against sexism in the tech industry. And of course, she is married to the richest man in the world, Bill Gates. And Melinda Gates' net worth is estimated to be at $20 billion.